Everybody signed the sheet? Okay. So, our chairman and vice chair not here today. That's J.P. Espinoza and Nate Stacy. J.P. asked me to chair the meeting. I'm Andrew Yale. This is Rick Sullivan, Marion Wright, Cliff Krolik, Brendan Edelman, and our former CEO.
Still current.
A continuing CEO. Okay. Dave Bauer. We're going to start the meeting at 7 p.m. on, today is 12/18 of 2018. We have three things on the agenda. Ma'am, did you sign in?
I didn't know.
Did you? Are you Tara Walker? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
We have three things on the agenda. We're going to take them in the order of urgency. The first is Ms. Walker has an application she wants to bring before the board. I'll bring you up to date on that. Second will be the Province Lake Golf Course. We have some extreme time constraints there, and they'd asked previously for a special meeting, which we weren't able to grant. And third will be Mr. Ryan and Mr. Sanborn's application. We're going to follow MMA procedure here. Anyone who wants to speak, got to be recognized by the chair. Come up here, speak to the board. Anybody that speaks from the seat, when they're not recognized, I'm going to give you a warning. I have to warn you twice, I'm going to have to leave. Our goal tonight is to get through this as efficiently and fairly as possibly, and so we will proceed. Ms. Walker, oh wait, let's, yeah, questions from the board.
We have at least two alternates voting tonight, right?
Right.
So you want to make that known.
Actually, it would be one.
Is it one? I'm the only alternate?
No, Cliff.
I'm an alternate.
Right, but he doesn't need to
We don't
vote.
need, I don't need to vote?
Oh, yeah, no, I'm sorry, yeah, it's five of
But,
them.
yeah, okay, just so make that.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, how many do we need to vote, to have a vote?
Five.
Five, yeah, so,
Okay.
all right, just make that note, that
Okay,
both alternates are voting.
thanks, Brandon. Ms. Walker, you want to come up and explain to us what you got?
Oh, you
Yes.
just-
Yes, I printed out copies of the packet that the clerk asked me to bring today. So you can see. Thank you very much for fitting me in on tonight's agenda. My name is Tara Walker, and I'm here on behalf of my in-laws, Richard and Nancy. Nancy was diagnosed with a terminal brain cancer, and she's at home in hospice care. One of the photos that I included here is us, so you can kind of see who we're talking about. And she would like to be buried on her property, just a little parcel that is prepared in the back of the house. There's not a lot of guidance in the law on what you have to do in order to do this. It seems pretty minimal, but I emailed with the clerk and with J.P. Espinoza. He said he might not be here, but I was going to hit my face to prepare for this. And he basically just asked that we submit a letter, which is the first 2 pages of what I handed you, explaining what I explained to him, that Nancy would like to be on her property, that we're here on her behalf, trying to fulfill those wishes, and then to copy the statute. That looks like the only thing that we could find that applies, and that's, the entire statute is copied in the middle of the letter, kind of like indented. And what it says is essentially, the statute is 13 MRS 1142. It says when a person appropriates for a family burying ground a piece of land containing not more than 1/4 of an acre and causes a description of it to be recorded in the registry of deeds in the same county or by the clerk of the town where it is situated, and substantially marks the bounds of the burying ground or encloses it with a fence, it's exempt from attachment or execution. No subsequent conveyance of it is valid while a person is interred in the burying ground, but it must remain to the person who appropriated, recorded, and marked that burying ground, or to that person's surrounding the burial ground is appropriated pursuant to this section and is conveyed. The property is conveyed by the person who appropriated the property or by an heir of that person, and the conveyance causes the burying ground to be inaccessible from a public way. The conveyance is subject to an easement for the benefit of the spouse, ancestors, or descendants of the person who's buried there. The easement may be only used by persons to walk in a direct line from the public way nearest the burying ground to the burying ground at reasonable hours. That's the whole thing. I think what I wrote in the letter is, I think the only thing that we have to do is to delineate the boundaries of the area, make sure that it's less than a quarter acre in total size, and then to record it with the Registry of Deeds. So, I'm doing this sort of, we're just trying to do this on our own, so I've also included just a piece of the tax map that has this parcel of property on it. So I don't know which page it is, but it has all my handwriting in red pen. Those are their two, they actually own both pieces of property. That 83.2 is identified on the tax map in 82A. And then I marked, the boundary of the property has a stone wall on the side of it. So the burial ground would be adjacent to the stone wall about 100 feet from the road. So if we ever sold the property, or the property went to somebody other than the family, which we don't have plans to do, we would have the easement along the stone wall for 100 feet. The burial ground would be 100 feet by 83 feet, and so it's less than a quarter of an acre. And then I included also a draft of the description that we would file with the Registry of Deeds. This isn't anything we had surveyed, and there's a couple of reasons for that. Number one, I called a lot of surveyors, and there was no way they can get that done before she's probably in the past. And so, if we sell the property, that's probably something we will do, just for our sake. But for now, I think for the purposes of just having this recorded, we did do what we think is an adequate description, so that at least we know where it is. And it will be marked with granite stone. The rest of the documents are just pictures of what has been created on the property. There's a couple of pictures from that look like they're just trees. That's the view of the road from where this is, and the area that's been repaired as a burial ground.
I don't have any questions.
Anyone on the board have questions?
I'd be willing to approve this without any, I don't have any questions or any concerns or any problems at all.
Yeah, the comment that I have is that these have historically required a setback from the property line. If she's talking adjacent to the stone wall, and that's the property line.
And that would be the standard setback that, for 75 feet now, or
No,
25?
yeah.
From the road center line?
No,
From the property line.
Yeah,
So is the stone wall property?
yeah.
It is. Uh-huh.
Do you know how far you are from the stone wall?
I think it's adjacent to it from what he has. RJ is the person who marked this, my husband, and who drew the little piece. But I can tell him that we can just shift everything, and we will mark everything to shift it to 25 feet away from the property line.
Right.
And then the description that you have is not the description that we have filed, because we would
Right.
amend that.
Alright.
Just as pointed, the reason for doing that is that property within 25 feet of the cemetery cannot be disturbed. And if it goes into the neighbor's property, you can't guarantee that.
Thank you.
I have a question, kind of directed to you, David, because, abutters, is there any need to notify abutters?
It's a site plan review. The requirement is that you may, let's see, is that right? May notify, no, I think it's, you may hold a public history,
No.
the board hasn't done it. The board shall send by first-class mail to all property owners within 500 feet. Notice of the
Just a notice that would specify that there will be a burial site? Is that what you?
That the
No,
application is
It's
made.
a notice that there's an application, so
Right.
that they would have the opportunity to comment on it. But, you know, as I said, recent history, that hasn't happened, which,
When you say that hasn't happened, you mean the board hasn't addressed a burial site, or they?
no, the board has not notified abutters in all cases.
Right. So again, I'm in the same place. I'd be willing to approve this tonight as is. I don't know if anybody else has any concerns, but I think this is the kind of thing that we need to allow in our community. I mean, there's cemeteries everywhere.
You know, as long as it meets, you know, all applicable state rules.
Right.
And our setbacks as well.
So you wanna not have her be 25 feet from the
Well,
stone?
no,
No.
I mean, she's agreed. I think she's
Oh,
agreed to
okay.
do that. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
then I
I mean, if we agree that you'll do
Subject to,
25
and
feet
just bring
setback.
us, an updated,
Draft.
family burial, yeah, the draft, so.
We're also assuming that no abutters are gonna say anything about it. But
Yeah, I mean, I can, when I send the draft, I don't know who the abutter is, which I
I was
probably
trying
should,
to
Well,
but.
I mean, it looks pretty rural. If it were in the
Yeah.
village or
Very
something,
rural.
it might be
Very
an
rural.
issue.
that doesn't mean there isn't a.
Right,
I
I
think
agree.
it's undeveloped, but I'll ask, and if we can indicate whether we've gotten consent from the butters, I will do that. If that's not the
You don't
case,
necessarily need consent.
You don't need it.
Notify them.
just
Um,
them to the fact that.
So are we
So we
gonna
wanna-
require that notification of abutters be made?
Well, it's not her that does it.
Right.
We
Okay,
do.
okay,
We
I
are,
wasn't
right,
sure.
but we're gonna, I mean,
To be
notify
totally
abutters.
legal, we have to send something to a butter.
Okay, so let's do it then. Let's notify butters. Okay. It's just a matter of notifying the butters. And I mean, the thing is, if we approve it, notify butters, and then there's a complaint, where do we go from there?
So that's, I guess my question is, if we're gonna notify abutters, then what's the process here? I don't wanna drag this out forever, obviously. And we can't do a sidewalk, cause it's.
I don't think
I think we
need
can
to.
waive the sidewalk,
Yeah, and
but,
we can't under our own ordinances now anyways.
yeah.
And that would put it off till too late, so.
Just keep it simple, get a note out to the butters and say, woman's about ready to die, she wants to be buried on her property.
I mean, we don't want to draw it out. You're right. This is a timing issue. You know, needs to be accommodated for a specific.
I think the sense, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the sense of the board is that this is okay to do, and we want to do it. We just need to do it within the framework that exists so that there doesn't cause any problems for you or anyone else.
The last thing we wanna do is have to
No, that's not gonna happen.
No, that won't happen.
It seems like the applicant has, dotted her i's and crossed her t's in terms of bringing in a prepped up thing for the state. The state statute is pretty straightforward.
I just don't want to see it get hung up on notifying the butters. I'd like to see it be able to go through, and if an abutter objects, which I don't see, it's pretty rural. It's not like it's in the village. It's not like somebody's going to see it. It's on their property. I just don't know how we would address it if somebody objects to it.
Yeah, I guess that's why I was bringing it up. If we're gonna go that route, then,
Right.
then we'll have to have a.
I'm of the mindset it's their property. It's probably the right thing to do. I mean, even if there was an objection, I don't see what it would matter. You know?
Mr. Ryan?
Is there an option for a conditional yes?
Conditional.
If there's no input from the abutters? Like, we grant an approval with the condition that abutters don't notify the town that they have an issue with it?
Right, but okay, so, again, this is a life that's involved in this, this is gonna get pretty complicated if we say, all right, well, if an abutter comes back with an issue, then maybe we have to revisit this. I don't think that's possible. I'd like to approve this today and let her go home and know that they can bury her there when she dies. I don't really know, as far as notifying a abutter, if we have to do that and it holds the project up, I'd say let's not do it. I mean, I don't know what else anybody else would think. I'd just like to see her go home today and knowing that if this woman dies, she can be buried there tomorrow.
I appreciate you.
Does notification require a letter to each butter or?
Yeah.
First class mail.
And how many let's take a look at the tax map.
You said they own the one property, so they're the abutter on 82A.
Right.
So there is technically maybe, what, 2 other abutters? You don't know these folks? You don't know them personally?
You mean 83-1 and, I don't, what is the other?
Yeah, it doesn't say on either of those, actually.
I think David's gonna get the
Well,
names
that's good.
and addresses.
That's helpful. Then we
Yeah.
can, if we know them. I think half the neighbors in this area are very good family friends. From,
Right.
right
So
now.
maybe what we could do is,
I wouldn't anticipate any problem from your abutters, I just, we have to do this.
I'm sorry,
I wouldn't anticipate any problem from your abutters, I think we just have to do it pro forma.
properly.
Yeah.
I understand that. I agree with the sentiment that for our purposes, I mean, I think we want to do this the right way, which is why we're here. And if we can know, because it's not going to, I don't think, be a possibility for us to come back for the next meeting. Then I think that's maybe what we have to do.
so could we, like maybe what you were saying, Brandon, we could say with the conditional approval, like what Will said, as long as the abutters don't complain, but then if they do, it's too late? I mean, at this point, I don't know how we factor this in with the life and the balance and the time limit here, We might just have to break protocol.
Put a
I mean,
date on the letter. We could put a date on the letter. We need to know by a week or
Right.
1 week max.
all right,
We
we
should
could,
be able to get that letter out in the mail right away.
yeah, sure, we could do it.
Sure.
Just do it, we do it, we just gotta do it immediately.
Yeah, put a
Or
date,
not do it.
1 week, and no here.
But barring that, it's, you follow state statutes and you'll move that, so it's 25 feet setback. That's it, right? And then, yeah, it's gotta be bound by something, right? Either it has to have some.
Yeah,
usually
it's
snow
going to
or
be
a fence.
marked by grant. It has to be marked, and I think that just means so that people don't inadvertently disturb the area. So it will be, at first, RJ said that he was going to put a horse fence up there, which I think is like a large round pen. That seems really difficult, so I think it's just going to be granite. But if you want a horse fence to mark it, you can put that in there too.
I think that's at your discretion.
Yeah, it's, I mean, as far as I know, you can use grade stakes and yellow rope, there's no, you just have to mark it.
Tiffany?
There are 5 people, 5 lots that would be considered abutters.
Okay. What's, I know we don't have a secretary, what's our mechanism for sending out abutter letters at this point?
It's one of us. We'll have to do it.
I can get you names and addresses, I can,
Give us the names and averages, as long as we don't leave here tonight without, if we have a letter ready to go, short one, I'll take care of mailing them out.
All right,
Okay, so we'll have them out like within 24 hours?
Yeah, they'll be out by tomorrow at this time.
Okay.
That was
So we've covered all our bases, I'd say.
Yeah, but we have to have the letter done before we leave tonight.
Tiffany?
just
Small,
one question.
paragraph.
Would the walkers still be able to keep their right of way along the stone wall or as far away from the house as possible?
That's a matter of how she deeds it, how it's deeded.
Yeah, I mean, that's up to the,
Okay.
Just so that we don't have to.
Okay. Okay, so do we want to put this to a vote that we're
yeah,
we're gonna send out letters to the abutters with conditionally approving it based on the assumption that we're not gonna get any negative feedback. If we do, we're gonna have to revisit. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright,
put a
we can
date
try
on
that.
it. We need to,
Yeah.
Right.
if you have
We
any,
need feedback within,
if
what,
you-
7
if
days?
you have any objection,
Right.
we need to hear by being this date.
Oh.
All right,
If not, everything else looks correct and we're good.
all right. So do we want to pick a date, 7 days from today?
Yeah.
Or 7 days from
say
tomorrow when you get the letters
Yeah,
out?
1 week.
Before we arrange the applicant's life for her, you wanna say something?
What
Yeah.
do I do if there is an objection, or will I get notified, or?
I think we will get
yeah, we'll
notified.
get notified.
But then how do I know whether we're okay to get, so what I'm trying to get, like the procedure, what I understand the procedural thing that I need from the town is called a disposition of human remains permit. And that is contingent on me recording
The deed.
deed, but that's after she passes, and we don't
Right.
know when that could be
Right.
tomorrow, or it could be, who knows when. So I don't, what do I do if there's an
So
objection?
the permit would be issued with the conditions that all those things get met at the appropriate time. so that when you obviously can't do that until she passes, so when as long as all those things are done, then it's approved as long as all those conditions are met, right?
Which is fine for the things that are under my control, because I
Right.
will file it and do all this stuff, but the objection is the question I have, like, what do I do?
Typically, if this is a site plan review, correct? If an abutter files an objection, we have to have a second meeting and have them come to state their piece.
If,
However, I'm not sure to what extent the planning board has, this is the first time I'm dealing with this, has jurisdiction over this. I think you're just coming before us as in a sort of,
You
go ahead.
have jurisdiction because it's a use in the acceptable
Right.
use table that requires a site plan review.
Okay,
That's what the planning board.
so
does.
then we have to follow the same basic template as we would for any other site plan review,
Yeah.
which means we have to notify the abutters. And if any of them are in disagreement, which I can't imagine anybody would be, they can come here and state their piece.
Yeah.
So, we'll give them a
I
certain
guess-
time.
I guess the one concern is disinterment. And I know you have a job to do, and I don't want to make it more complicated, but I don't want to be in a situation where we've created a arrangement that would require her to get moved. I think there's the theoretical possibility that if she were to pass tomorrow, I think because we're doing this all at home and we're doing this out of ourselves, that we would have to bury her before getting a permit. And but come to get the permit, as soon as we can, because that 7 days hasn't passed. We'll just do everything as quickly. So I'm just trying to get you to see, like, I don't want to get in a situation where we have to
Yeah,
disinter.
I don't see that happening. Even if somebody objects, I can't see that happening.
Okay.
I really don't see any rightful objection to this, but if somebody does object, again, we're talking about lives here. This is,
Right.
this is a rural area. It's not like it's in the village in somebody's face in somebody's yard. So I would say we approve it with the conditions and
protect you if somebody later comes back.
Come back and so it's
I
not
mean,
like a
they had
variance.
it.
It's not like if there's an objection, you can still make the decision that you're gonna make.
yeah,
Correct.
making the decision to approve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's the message.
See that just the land from your.
And it's
I think it's all.
Karen, it's a really, really outside
They have to
chance
be
that
really,
anybody's
really
gonna say
right.
anything.
Right.
And if I were, if it's mentioned it to RJ, he knows his neighbors.
I know.
Have him
yeah.
go talk to him now. Start the process.
Yeah.
Just, I wouldn't worry about it.
so we make a motion to approve under the condition that
Make it
abutters are notified?
Yeah, and,
I make
and
that-
that all state guidelines are followed, et cetera, et cetera.
Indeed. All right, I make that motion.
I second.
All in favor?
All right.
Maybe you can have a.
Motion
list of
carries.
butters for me before we leave that I can read.
No,
I
because
get
he's
those
gotta
first
give,
thing in the morning.
he's gotta match up addresses for you and stuff.
Yeah, got it. First thing in the morning, I'll be.
Ms. Walker, anything else? Okay, thanks for coming in.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Wow.
Okay, rolling right along, what we have next is this application. And the plan is here. I guess we gotta take a look and see if the application is complete first.
Is this for the one that the appeals board gave the waiver for the setback on?
It is, yes. They gave a variance of 25 feet to allow them to build.
And the building was already existing in that footprint, right? That's what it was just a
Well,
waiver for the
It's
new,
different. Yeah, it's not the same location.
Right.
It's a different place. The building did not exist.
all right.
Alright, so it's got- it's got-
Where is the info about?
Are you asking where the pro shop will currently go or where was it prior?
Both.
The prior, our entire complex prior was
So, on the left.
on the left, all connected.
Oh.
And we've kind of learned our lesson that we never want to have our eggs in one basket because,
Lost
lightning
it
is over
all.
to strike twice. I don't know if we'd survive that now. How we're trying to reshape the property itself is overcome some of the prior problems. If you were across the lake off before, when you entered kind of behind the building, as the rooms are. So we're just trying to redirect our entryway so you're driving right beside our pro shop. So the pro shop is going to be to the right of, if you're facing the building from Mountain Road, it's just to the right, along the cart path.
There is a map here, Mary.
There's numerous maps.
For multiple reasons, again, not to have our eggs in one basket, this gives us a view we didn't have a pro shop needs to be able to visually see what's happening on its course. And our pro shop before basically could see what was happening in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So this gives us eyes on our different major hold points and better flow and better traffic.
So it needs to be 75 and it's 50, and you got
The
Hey,
variance.
the variance.
Correct.
Okay.
So we're, just determining if, all the stuff for site plan review's been met.
I think so. It seems to all be here.
When we doing a site, do we have to do a site plan?
I don't think we have to do the site walk. I think we can waive that. But again, this is another thing we have to notify butters. Send out this, but I think this could be approved tonight too.
Do we have to? I thought that the ZBA, they deal with that? I mean, if they gave them a variance,
Right.
so have,
Isn't it two discrete things?
is it two separate
Variance?
things?
I don't know.
Yeah, they gave, no, abutters were notified
Yeah,
about the variance.
correct.
Okay, so that's been done.
So we don't,
Variance.
So do we have to now
Two
notify
different
them?
issues.
about
Right.
construction,
Yeah.
Okay,
This is
so we
a
still gotta do,
separate application.
alright, so we still gotta notify butters then, right?
right? But I personally don't feel that we need a site walk on this. I feel that's just gonna slow them down,
We can't do one under our own ordinances until.
right, with the
No,
snow.
that's not true. You
No.
can't.
We could waive it, right? Waive the ordinance? I mean, well,
Couple of things. You can do a site walk. You can't do a subdivision site walk.
Right, yes.
Different animals.
Yes. But it's a moot point. I don't think we need to do it personally. I mean, unless other people think we might need to do a site walk there. What do you guys think? I personally don't think so.
So our issue is certainly far pressing from what you guys just dealt with. But
you're not burying anybody in the golf course.
maybe David, but pretty soon. However, we are kind of on a deadline. We
We
just
just
our
talk
last.
different days.
Yeah, no.
Not that-
Although there's time, I'm sure.
No, not at all. We're at a time of year where our memberships are up for renewal, and this is also where our working capital comes from the winter. So because of the storm that we missed the last meeting, and now that we're looking at frost, every day, every cold day that goes by, we're further from construction. And if my membership does not see some sort of progress, then we're putting the club at jeopardy. So I just asked you to expedite this as fast as possible. I mean, as it is, construction is already gonna be a challenge because we probably have 2 feet of frost to get through.
So, alright, so we're not doing a sidewalk.
No, I think we can vote on it tonight and send out letters if it's,
Alright, so we vote on it and then.
I mean,
Can
yeah,
I
it's
just
been-
come back to that? I just want to ask you, I understand the urgency, but I'm uncomfortable with waiving all this stuff.
Right, we didn't
You know.
waive anything. Board of Appeals, he went to Board of Appeals.
No, that's fine, I'm not talking about that, but, on what basis are we waiving the site walk? What's
We
your
don't have to
rationale?
have a site walk, that's the
Okay.
thing. That's always
We
a
have
may.
Was there a site walk for the prior application for the other building?
No, I believe we waived it. I don't think we did a site walk for last.
For the building that contains the bistro?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
one where you had the weddings, I think we didn't do any site walks. No, we waived the site walks over there.
I think before we waive it, we need to put it to a vote.
All right.
Yeah,
What?
I mean, I think it's what Rick's throwing out is, well, obviously we vote on all this, but
Yeah.
are we?
So what do you want to vote on the
whether or not
site
to waive
walk?
The sidewalk?
We can have that vote.
I make a motion, we, waive the sidewalk.
I second that motion.
Okay. All in
All those
favor?
in favor?
At least
Opposed?
it's me.
And just to clarify, folks, I'm not asking you to waive any.
No,
You're not.
yeah,
I understand.
Yeah, it's not.
Okay.
It's if it were a bigger deal, I don't think we'd waive it. But you know, it's a good project. We're all familiar with it. You just came before the Board of Appeals. I mean, that's really. I think that we're pretty much covered there. So, and us waiving the site walk, that's not. I don't feel that's a big deal at all.
So we'll still notify butters and all that?
Yep.
So-
Yeah. So we ought to make a motion to vote on this. I make a motion that we.
Is the application, all this is, we had to vote this complete
We
first.
gotta vote it is complete. Can you make that motion?
Right, make a motion, we go through this here real quick,
All right.
we got everything, I mean, this is pretty well organized, so it's,
And just so I can go back to process, you're gonna notify abutters, and then at that point, we can begin the construction? Is that-
Then we have to,
I have people foaming at their teeth ready to start
yeah,
taking ground.
we have to notify butters, and the butters have to be given a timeline to respond, correct?
Right. So should we take a similar stance and say, you know, I mean,
I mean, our abutters just.
Yeah,
just
you're-
so
I
you
mean,
know,
they showed up in
a
support
majority
of the
our
project.
butters Are ourselves,
Yeah.
or
Right.
an entity of ourselves.
Okay,
Or people
So,
like Steve that are here that live on the
we
course.
put it on a tight timeline and move it forward.
same timeline. A week from tomorrow is Christmas, so it'd be, you know, a week from today is Christmas Eve.
And I mean, we're very open to the public and to our neighbors about what our plans are as an entirety, so it's not gonna come as a shock, just so you notice.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, we wanna see you guys up and running.
As to
So, do we make a motion to approve this? Or to
first we
say
gotta
it's
make,
complete?
we gotta vote on whether it's complete or not,
Right,
correct?
Okay, yeah, so, go through the list.
I think he's got it all.
Copies are all here. Butters. I don't see anything missing.
Yeah, I'm with you. I see it as being complete. Anybody?
So, we want to make that motion?
I think it's already made. Okay.
Motion voted as complete?
Yeah, I move to vote this as a complete application.
Second it?
All in favor? Okay. So,
So it's, notice to butters and that's
we'll
it,
go from there.
pending, whatever timeline we put on that.
Who's gonna do the?
I want that, yeah, I can do
the
What's another 5 letters? Another 5.
No.
It's another 5 letters.
I'll go.
Okay.
So, what else we going on this with that?
I think that's it. Right?
Well, you voted that it was
It's complete.
Are you approving it?
So we got to make another motion to approve? I make the motion to approve.
Pending, pending, pending the results, pending, the timeframe of notice to butters.
Right, I make the motion to approve. Anybody second that motion? Subject to, what, no complaints from the butters?
Right.
All right.
Subject to the expiration of the timeline, given to the notice of butters. A second.
All those in favor?
Anybody opposed?
To approve?
Okay. You're welcome. Okay. Now we're gonna move on to the Walker Chevrolet project.
Yeah, you should have incorporated that in there somehow.
All right.
So what's that?
I think I sort of left this for last because it's in some ways most problematic. Trevor Sanborn gave me this letter from an attorney, which I think we need to, I'll read it out loud, regarding conflict of interest. And I guess it addresses the fact that, It's not clear what it addresses. I have some, but let me just read it. Dear Trevor, this letter provides a summary of my research into the conflict of interest issue we recently discussed. 1, the courts have made clear that former municipal officers must avoid even the appearance of having participated in a vote on an issue in which they now have a financial stake. B, a municipal officer's vote cannot appear to have been motivated by a future intent to profit from such a vote. C, a municipal officer owes the duty to the municipality to give advice which is in the municipality's best interest and not his or her own. It is only a conflict, however, if the municipal officer has an interest in an issue upon which she previously voted. The question of whether there is a conflict depends upon many factors: time since the former municipal officer served on the planning board, the issue now being presented to the board by the former municipal officer, whether the former municipal officer voted on the issue now being presented by him/her. To make more certain these vague standards and answer these questions, the legislature passed 30A 2605, Conflicts of Interest, which answers the question as follows. Time. The relevant time period is 1 year after termination of his or her position within the municipality. What cannot be done during that year, the former municipal officer may not act as an agent or an attorney or participate as an individual during the year. Is the 1 year ban on participation on acting as an attorney or agent limited to certain proceedings? The answer is yes. The 1 year ban is limited to participation in proceedings dealing with a specific issue that was pending before the municipal official, and such issue was within the authority of the municipal officer to act. The issue had to be pending within 1 year of the termination. Conclusion: since your appearances before the board is within 1 year of your termination, you are within the limitations of the statute and case law. However, since the issue on which you are presently appearing, that is to seek permission to open the business, was not pending within the year, you do not fall within the limitations applying to conflict of interest. Simply put, during a term of office, you did not participate in voting on any issue which was ever remotely connected to the allowance of your proposed business.
Okay, so what I get from that is that's addressing Will's role in this.
No,
Yeah, that's a letter.
it's a letter regarding you.
It's addressing, yeah, because
Okay.
I seem to recall we had that training, and JP did bring up in the manual, there was a question about that.
Yeah,
So-
the statute doesn't quite read that way, though. It does, that's an interpretation of that. I mean, it basically says anything matter before the board. But I also believe it addresses the fact that you can't, if you're on the board, you can't act as an agent for anybody. So that's enough, I mean,
Right.
you know.
So I went
Wait,
through it
you aren't
myself.
recognized. Do you want to put your hand up? Yes?
I'm the applicant, right? I don't know.
Oh, well, it's unclear if you're an applicant at this point.
Well, if you are the applicant, then there's no issue. So,
If you look at this, it's if I voted. I have never voted on the municipal laws that have been on the record now for many, many years. The only time that we actually had any talks, even around marijuana, was around a totally different law, which is adult use, of which we didn't have any votes. We only held one meeting. So, I have not participated in any manner in the medical marijuana ordinances.
Right.
I mean, the issue with the whole voting thing is that's something that isn't actually in the statute. I mean, that's an interpretation of,
But I think
No,
what he
it's-
just,
It's the legal definition of acting on the matter.
Um,
It doesn't have to be in there, you have to look at the definitions for the words.
yeah.
Tiffany?
You're right, and I recall him recusing himself when this was brought before the planning board. He literally sat out here, then presented it, and did not have any discussion except as an applicant. He did not have discussion sitting in that chair over there, so he is correct about that, based on my recollection.
It also is not a pending issue in front of the board. That was laws that are set in motion a long time ago. It wasn't anything that we were tasked with building anything out for. It's something that was already on the record.
all right, so,
Mr. Ray?
I don't think we have any
town, no, I think we're working on them as a town. We're going by state regs.
We have no regulations, then how could you
Right.
participate in making regulations when we have no regulations?
Yeah, I'm not stuck on this. I mean, I think there's other things with this application we should address. I don't know how much time we have to spend on this, but.
Not too much, but I think we need to address it because it's definitely
Right.
in the,
Well, if he's considered an applicant, then it's irrelevant.
But even if he's not, I think
You can
he.
be an applicant, no matter what.
Right.
The law does not prohibit you from doing business, which
And I'll
means
also
as an
note
applicant. As an
There is no
applicant.
written anything
I'm not
about
sure.
being an agent.
you got it right there on your phone?
I mean, you know, yeah, but you gotta, you know, this is, you know.
From the way I read it, it seemed like he could not be an applicant.
Oh, well, that has to do with our statutes.
Right.
I mean, with our ordinances. I mean, that's, you know, there's someone, I mean, if I was gonna take legal review, it would have to be from our attorney. You know, I mean, not personally. I mean,
Which sat
Yeah.
here on the meeting as I presented in notes and I was a member of the board. Also, I use the attorney that our town uses when it has to do with marijuana, Hillary, and she reviewed it as well as another attorney. So, that's what we have. However, I would also urge that we do need to have a vote today because after you accept that it is complete, you have 60 days to produce action on the application, and there was no action. Attending a meeting is not considered an action. So the site plan, the site walk, and the public hearing don't necessitate action because they're actually not mandatory action by the board. It's put in there so essentially the board can't schedule things out over a longer period of time and delay.
Understood. David?
I just wondered what prompted that letter.
I don't know.
I think, like I said, I remember us talking about this. Maybe, I don't know.
Wait, where does our talk about this application in that?
No, not specifically about that. It was actually kind of brought up loosely when we were training. JP had noticed it in the manual, something to that effect, and but we were very specific to not talk about specific cases. It was kind of hard, but we did it.
We've also sat here and I've recently tried to get the minutes from it, but we went through every issue someone had with lawyers. And one of the biggest issues from someone who's not here right now, aside from calling me a pedophile for wanting to have a medical marijuana business, was that there was a conflict of interest. And that was hammered home by about 4 people in the crowd. So that prompts us to bring that in front of our attorney.
Gerard?
As everyone knows, I've been to every planning board meeting for over the last 2 years, and at no time did I see any conflict of interest. If I did, it would have made me sick to my stomach. I have every meeting on tape. I have every meeting on videotape and audio tape. At no time did I ever see this board act in an inappropriate way. If anything, I saw the town trying to push the board to act in a certain way. That's what got the board discussing the marijuana issue. So, if anything, this board was never focused on the marijuana issue at all until it was brought to their attention by others. So, at no time did I ever see this board discussing marijuana or promoting marijuana or any conflict of interest whatsoever. And I'm glad that Will is covering this statutorily because, of course, there's going to be people that are going to make claims like that. But as I said, I have video and audio, and I've been at these meetings and I pay attention. At no time did I ever see that go on. If I did, I would have been sick to my stomach. If anything, this was all perpetrated just because of fear of other people that don't necessarily agree, and it's made the board have to focus on this several times. Not that the board intended to focus on it themselves. So I don't think there's been any conflict of interest
Okay,
at all here.
thanks very much.
David,
1 second. Go ahead, Rick.
sorry, David, there was an email exchange between JP and someone at MMA that we were supposed to receive?
I got it here.
Okay, so,
Another thing too, if you needed added evidence, is all of the case law is referenced in there. That you can go back and see precedent where this exact
That-
situation has been held up.
Understood.
Let me go print that out. I apologize,
no worries.
I went off on a
Yeah.
tangent. I'll be right back.
So, what do we, I mean,
Well,
We talking any more about conflict of interest or not?
well, Mr. Ryan just started to talk about, do you have something to say about it?
No, I'm just
Yeah.
curious where we're going with it.
I don't-
Come this far, so.
This seems a little murky to me, but, I mean, there's other stuff that's murkier. So maybe we should get onto that instead and let this ride. And if this, this may be something we have to take under advisement, you know, with the town attorney.
There's a due process issue at hand here. We're going.
There's all kinds of issues, man, but I mean.
No. That issue's not with me. That issue's with you. I also wasn't receiving any sort of receipt of the completeness of my application, and the minutes are not only posted, but it is recorded that there was no minutes or meeting at all in September. So there's much more murkiness on the other side. That right there is case law, and that's not an interpretation. That's
Thanks very much. Okay. The Cliff, Marion, anything?
As far as the conflict of interest, personally, I'm satisfied with the company. I mean, again, there's other things I'd like to move on and get past that. As far as the application,
I got it.
I
mean-
printed it.
I see no more of that.
no, not, I don't either, but,
The only issues with conflict, and I don't have an issue with conflict of interest. It'll only be an issue if it's an issue to somebody else, based on decisions that may or may not be made. So that's where, you know,
No decisions
we
were
can
made
we can we can
regarding
do
marijuana by any of this board in
we
the
can
last
we can
2
do,
years.
you know,
So.
right.
there's-
But presumably we're going to make a decision.
Right,
Yeah?
I'm not on the board.
So
So,
you know what I mean? I mean, it's
I'm just gonna ask right now, what is murky about the fact that no action was taken on medical marijuana laws or ordinances by the board in the last 2 years? And how does that equate to conflict of interest?
Can I ask you, you know, what you're bringing now is really not germane to what we have here. It's kind of a global thing made to put us on the defensive here. We have some specific, substantive stuff to deal with. If you continue to sort of talk around the issue or talk about things that have happened, what we really need to address is the state legislature's statute regarding moratorium and opting in, which is, okay, like I said, we can let this ride. Okay, so everybody has this, take a second to read.
now this is from MMA, right?
Right,
This is the JP and MMA having,
right, here's the whole thing is here. He reached out to them, and
Right.
explained the situation, and this is what they got back.
disclaimer on written approval indicating the planning board reviewed the application solely under the criteria.
Can you hold it for a second, Gerard, while they read?
So that last paragraph, that seems to say it all. Disclaimer.
you know, I mean, we need to vote on something here tonight.
It's unclear what we can vote on, though.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, I look at this and, you know, to me it's all about the last paragraph.
Yeah, that's what I see too. That jumped right out at me. I mean, this is from
What I
MMA.
see here is that we really should have our lawyer here, and we need to go into an executive session to deal with these little.
But we've got a recommendation from the MMA right here. This is, actually doesn't come from the applicant.
We
This
have
is an
one person
exchange
at a time.
between JP and the MMA just recently.
Speak, please.
Can you wait a second, Gerard?
No, yeah, let's finish our conversation.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's two issues here. I mean, we gotta vote on this one way or the other, okay? But in whether or not, you know, we can vote on it one way or the other, as long, and I just think we just need to be clear that however we vote, if we decide we vote to approve, that, you know, in our conditions, that we're clear that, you know, we're not giving them authority to go ahead and open a business. That's up to the state of Maine. That's
Did you
state
did
law.
you read this?
Right, yeah, I
Did-
did.
Yeah.
And that is how it works. So the state of Maine underneath LD 1539 has taken and given the right to the town to decide where things go.
Correct.
But when you renew your license, the town are kind of in between these two laws, right?
Correct.
So I can wait, right now, we're under new laws. So if I was to change my location of where I'm authorized to use my caregiving activities, like in the original application I had my card, they would decide whether or not they could send something back to me with that. No longer were they just gonna put an address down, they're going to have to vet something. That's where we sit with that. There's also the ability to do a warrant article. We're pretty open-minded on our side. I mean, there's obviously a lot of construction because of the delays we've had from, delays that are frustrating to delays that are just weather, which, can be frustrating but nobody's problem. The issue is we'd like an approval to know whether or not we actually have the right to at least start building something, and then we'll submit. I have a warrant, actually have a warrant article that I wanted to submit to you guys.
We're gonna table the warrant article for now, I think, because it's not really germane to what's going on. I think the town is in the process of, drafting an ordinance.
But as being a former member of the board and in attendance during that meeting, it was several months ago, and with a pending application here, it didn't make the board act any faster. So I will be submitting a warrant article to force the timeline. That's just.
Let me disabuse you of the fact that you can force the timeline right here, because
Yeah, we can, it's a warrant article, and it has a time stipulation, so before you do anything, look into the warrant article and see what it is.
I think you're clear that if we vote to approve your application, you can't open the business.
No, we have to wait until a
Right.
warrant article.
I mean, that's the bind that we're both in, right?
Right.
You and us as a board.
Yeah, and I think that we, at this point, I mean, there's two things that happen here. We vote tonight, and that result will, however that vote goes, say we vote to approve, all right? Well, we've done our job at that point, and, the applicant is now going to have to deal with state law as to whether or not he can open. And the way I understand it is until we have ordinances, he can't.
Yeah.
So,
No, that's,
so we have to get that has to happen. So I think that, as long as we CYA ourselves on this and just make sure that we're clear that if we approve something, that it doesn't grant them permission, to, as it says here, permission to operate under state law resolves any issues related to the need for municipal consent. In other words, we're just either gonna approve the use of that land for this type of business or not.
We're on new ground. We
Right.
have to take the first step in order to,
And then we've done our part, and after that, it's
Right.
this,
Yeah.
this stuff with this, this can't get kicked down the road anymore. I mean,
Right.
this town is, I'm not blaming anybody, because, this is my first actual meeting, as a member, but I mean, this has gotta get dealt with. So, that's the next issue.
Well, okay, so the disclaimer would be, if I'm not mistaken, would be twofold. Not only the state law, but anything that the town might enact subsequently, the town may opt out.
yes, and
Well,
yes,
Right, the
that's,
town may,
that middle paragraph is
that would be,
missing
but
there.
that's all gonna be subject to, one gets put forward and a vote.
At
At a town,
Yeah.
town meeting gets called.
One person
town
at a
votes,
time,
and you're
please.
done, Right?
Okay.
Right, so, that's the process, so,
Okay.
that's a separate thing. I think we need to vote one way or the other right now, and because whatever we do doesn't change what has to happen for them.
Yep,
They still have to wait until either,
right.
a decision's made by this town by a vote, basically, that's what that's to do.
Okay.
Or warrant article. So I'd only ask that in the conditions per state law that I get the ability to achieve this through ordinance or through a warrant article, which is essentially a referendum ordinance.
I think the chair is working on the ordinance, I think he's, I know we've all been, right, but I think he spent some extra time over the last week or two, so I mean, not to throw, I just think he's been doing some work, and I want to at least give him credit for that. So, I mean, he did this, he's talked to MMA, and I feel that he's sort of paved the way for us tonight with this, with him not being here. So I really appreciate that he even did this much. I think this explains, you know.
In the warrant, I mean, anybody can put a warrant forward, so, pretty much. I mean, you know, if you get it, you know, if it gets forward, you have a vote, people approve it, whether 52 people show up or 152 people show up, it is what it is. So that's a different, that process doesn't have to be part of anything. I mean, that's not,
Separate process.
it's not, it does not part of a condition.
Tiffany?
Put a warrant forward.
No, it's, so, again,
Oh.
it's part of the condition, because underneath the state statute, that is one of the ways you can fulfill opening a store. So,
But that doesn't
it isn't.
mean that it has to be.
No, but if it's not in the conditions, if I fulfill that condition, I may not be able to fulfill it. You know what I mean? It needs to be in there for me to be able to achieve it. If it's not in there, then an ordinance or a warrant article can fulfill it. If I do a warrant article, I don't want to come in front of the board and be nitpicked again because it's not an ordinance. So I'm only asking that we put in the idea that the warrant article is not.
Warrant article,
Tiffany?
essentially.
Clarification on the warrant article, that still requires a town meeting, either a special
Oh,
town
yeah.
meeting or to go before the regular town meeting. So, to your point, it would require a vote in the town. So, yes.
Well, yeah, and that, I
That's
mean,
what you want to push.
nothing's going to happen
Right.
until there's a vote from the town.
But this allows me to push a time from my side. I can
Right.
use a warrant article if the board is unable to, you know, what if next month
Let
there's
me-
two more really tough
Let me
applications
clarify-
and it becomes really hard.
Let me clarify it for you again. I understand that you want to push your interest, but the reason that this board exists and that the town government exists is that your interest doesn't contradict the common weal, okay? The common good. So every time you say you're going to push your interest, you lose a little bit of ground in a certain
No,
way.
Let me explain to you why I don't, okay? When
No, I
I
don't
come here
need-
and I allow you to, no. When you schedule me out the way you did, and then I see two applications run through here without any hearsay on that stuff, that's an issue. That's a timeline issue. And so if I want to push through a warrant article, I'm going to push. And you have no grounds to do anything about
I
that.
can't do anything about it.
Exactly. So
But I can
don't
note it.
Point your
I can
pen at
note it.
me
I can
and more
note
than I can't speed up this board. Because I'm going to speed it up. That's it.
Well,
Now let's get a vote.
So do you feel that you need the warrant article if we get the ordinances squared away
No.
for a vote next
You know,
month
if
or
the
something?
ordinance is coming fast,
Then it's
awesome.
non-issue,
If they don't,
right?
I'm going to crack the whip. And that's just it.
the gentleman with the hat?
You guys don't think, like, you guys wouldn't agree that this has been dragged out way too long? I mean, he said this has to be dealt with. There's obviously a time issue at hand. And like, I mean, we've all been at multiple town meetings that have obviously been a waste of a lot of people's time. And I hear a lot of like frustration coming out between the two of you. And like, it's very obvious what the problem is and why he's frustrated and why you guys are frustrated. And it's all because it's just getting kicked down the road.
You're correct.
I would suggest like, who we deal with it? Who's doing the kicking? Just get it
Well,
over.
the reason why I said that is because actually
You know what I
we
mean?
would have voted on this at the last meeting, but it was canceled for weather.
Right.
So
But
that's,
it also
you
got
know.
pushed out. When you take something accepted as complete, you have 60 days to produce action on it. If you don't, you're violating my process in this whole entire situation. So, just like when you have people here that had timeline issues, granted, more serious, someone's life, they had a timeline issue. There was no problem speeding everything up and waiving things for them. Why is my application different? And why am I dealing with frustration from the board when the time was set by them?
Go ahead, Marion.
Anybody's frustrated.
You don't think that this guy's frustrated?
I'm not frustrated.
I can understand his frustration because if we had a secretary, the secretary would have had him first. Would have had Porter second, would have had the, Walker,
There's bias towards.
Walker daughter third. And if I were running the board, I would have done exactly, asked if they minded if you took her first.
I think-
But he still should have been second.
My issue is.
Because
complete
his was
waiving.
carried
But-
over from the month before. You know, and I'm not trying to side with him. It's just that,
Okay.
I think
you
that
know.
the sidewalk and the public hearing are not mandatory meetings.
Right, so we
And
understand.
they cannot interfere in the 60-day timeline.
All right, so we don't want to spend too much time on this because, yes, some things were drawn out, things haven't been done properly. We all know the board's been struggling to function properly. We're getting there. We're getting there.
We're sitting in chairs.
He's-
We've been struggling with this.
We've been
I
struggling
don't
with a
see
few
that the board has
things.
been struggling with it,
No.
no. I see that it's a contentious
Look at
issue.
the notes.
I see that as a contentious issue, which has a lot of facets to it. Just like I took due process with the woman with the burial situation,
What was the due process then?
that we notify abutters. That necessarily didn't.
You know,
Your
you're supposed to have
your
a record
impatience
before
doesn't
you
serve you
speak.
well. Hey, wait a minute,
If you
I'm
notify them,
speaking.
they have
If
to
you
have
don't
their
stop,
time.
I'll have
What do
you.
do? Kick
Come
me
on,
out
we don't
my-
need a pissing contest. All right, let's get
This
this
is-
application done. Come on.
Let me reflect to you, Will, that this is what you do. You've done it with other people in this room, you're trying to do it with me. I'm not raising to your bait, I would suggest you continue. No, I'm not.
You bid it.
No, I didn't bite it.
All right, and we can't let this get personal.
I'm
We can't.
calling for a vote. You guys are well beyond your time. I want the vote.
It's not on you to call for a vote,
One of
okay?
us has to make that
I don't
motion.
have to go ahead and say anything.
One of
Jeff?
us has to make that motion. Is there? I mean,
Let people talk. I just wanna say, I go to a couple of meetings. The one with the cemetery, it was a gentleman on Chase Road that did it, so you guys could have referred to the notes on the Chase Road, burial grounds. But, I didn't wanna say anything. Porter, was representing the golf course. The zoning board of appeals granted him a variance because they didn't wanna move their green. And so you approved his pro shop because the truth was they didn't wanna do any little work on moving the green. They could have moved the green. They could have sped it up a lot faster if they just moved the green, but they didn't wanna move the green. They wanted to move the pro shop.
No
So-
sidewalk.
So, right, so you guys, you know, you gave him some slack there.
They didn't even go look at it.
Right, but,
But he had a timeline for his
but
business. but my
we're
business
here
is
now,
private.
we're gonna make a vote, right? So let's.
we have to.
See, the issue, they've said
We're-
they're gonna
we're-
vote on it.
Yeah.
You guys for a vote, I didn't
We
see
were
anyone
prepared
vote.
to vote on it last month.
Yeah.
It's all right, I like to get my hits in.
Gerard?
Let's get the vote.
I would just like to say something. Sure. I know it can get very uncivil. The board has a really hard job. You know, as you know, Will, they have to vet this thing out. So they're in the hot seat. I understand your frustration, because believe me, I've gone out of my mind. So I understand both sides here, guys. But here's the thing. It has to be well vetted, because there are people on the other side that are frightened and that are terrible. And I understand you're upset, Will, because you went to the legality of finding out the statute because you feel like people are making accusations. So there's a lot of frustration here. But really, all the board has to look at is, does the application pass muster? Does it meet the book? And if it does, you have no choice but to pass it. It's that simple. And if it doesn't, then so does the application meet our regulations and our local ordinances? It's really that simple. Let's not get involved. This is the problem with the Wadsworth thing too, is that we're not getting down the facts. We're involved in all this emotion and there's no facts. Is the application complete or isn't?
We already voted it complete, last meeting.
So, as far as addressing this here, I think this letter from MMA, it sums it up for me. I mean, a vote on this doesn't mean, I mean, you read this, right? We just passed this out to you, you had time to read this. Okay, so, I mean, this is pretty simple here. I mean, we still got to do the opt-in vote. So if we approve this, we'll have the little caveat that the approval doesn't mean that you can have your actual operating storefront. You understand that, right? Exactly. Yep. Yep. So beyond that, what are the other concerns? Any other concerns?
As long as our conditions are just clear, you know, and are there any other conditions that we need to go with this?
Just what you said. I'd actually like to make sure those conditions are clear too. So I'd like to see them, you know, put into the record right now. What are they gonna be?
Well, we don't have them yet, so we can't put them into the record right now. We can start talking about what if it,
Doing the last one's on the spot. I want the conditions for this one on the spot.
I think that the condition would be to wait for the opt-in vote or the warrant article vote.
Yeah.
That's the condition. Is that the only condition?
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I see here. That's the only condition. We wait to see if the town votes to opt in.
So
Whether it's through a warrant article vote or whatever it
Doesn't
is.
matter. I mean, an
Opt
opt-in's
in.
an opt-in.
So,
approval subject to the,
The opt-in vote.
either the opt-in of,
Or maybe not approval
Or-
because we're approving it now, but actual, what to say, the actual operation, not approval, because we will approve it,
application's gonna be
but the
approved.
operation of the business.
Moving ahead will require the public.
So as far as structuring the language there, I would make a motion to approve the application with the,
We vote to approve.
yeah, I would make a motion to vote to approve the application with the,
Opt-in.
yeah,
Public opt-in.
with the, what do we want to call it, the caveat or whatever of waiting until the
With
town.
the language right
Opt-in
here in the
or
last
not.
paragraph.
Yeah, right.
I second.
That, you know, in no way is
Was
this
that motion
granting
made
them
properly,
permission to start
verbally?
operating.
So right here.
I mean, it doesn't matter, we can't, you know, we can't tell someone they can violate state law. That's the state determines, we can do that, we can't do that,
So somebody else
It's all
want to,
state law.
somebody else want to structure the language on this
We
motion?
can use the last
I would
piece of
just
that, right?
take the last piece of that and put it in there, municipal consent, need for, municipal consent, with that, relating to ordinances and zoning, which it can come through any way, municipal consent can be from a warrant, it can be from this stuff getting drafted, put it out, either way, it's gonna be a town meeting and a vote, and it's the electorate that will decide. We just need to decide whether the application, we're gonna approve it or not.
Just word of caution, I would recommend make sure the article goes in the warrant. Anyway. What's that? Make sure your article goes in the warrant. Oh, yeah. You need double, triple protection, or more hope. I have it right now, does anyone want to sign it?
No, that's not within our scope tonight. Were there any concerns anybody remembers from prior meetings regarding conditions?
I mean, there's obviously, I think the conditions, and it's gotta follow state laws, whatever.
Right.
And there's a lot of them, and the signage, is specific
Right, he
signage.
covered all that in his,
Yeah,
in
but
his
we don't have
application.
anything we're adding to that, right? What about, okay. So other than the stuff in the state language and state law, do we want to, in a minute, we can finish our discussion, so. It's okay, we're just trying to, sorry, wait a few more minutes, Mike, appreciate it. So other than that, is there anything else, that we wanna add?
I remember one request, it's minor, that there be some landscaping done. Will you with me?
Will,
Huh? Has it? Okay, that's, I'm just giving it to you guys, I'm not putting it in this condition.
You know, the one other thing was
mine was
whether
the driveway.
Yeah, whether DOT's been,
Yeah,
whether the driveway has to be
Yeah.
modified.
Yeah, the sidewalk, because of the temp, which is what set up, so.
so do we have to put that in as a condition, you think? Go ahead and put it.
Yeah.
Yes,
so-
unless we got something that shows that.
yes,
that's-
I would say that they make sure that they contact, the DOT. See what the
That their
see what the
driveways and
DOT
access to the road meet DOT standards, right?
Right.
Yeah, they have to anyways.
Because honestly, right now, the
Well-
distance isn't good for you,
No,
so they're gonna want to close.
Okay,
I
gentlemen,
want it closed.
Sorry, thanks for waiting on that.
Just publicly alarming how prepared he is, how prepared all the other applicants were tonight, and how, he's really getting a cold shoulder compared to all the other applicants. And you guys are protected as a board now, because he can't do anything unless the state grants him permission now anyway, and it's you guys are still very biased, or either, I wanna say scared, because I don't wanna say biased, but something's wrong here about how he's trying to just go along the process. Two other people did exactly what he did about some totally different topic, and it was butter for them. And he comes up against you guys, and he's facing up wall number one, half a wall this way, half a wall that way.
It's different, this is
So
a
it's just
big issue.
weird.
No, I get it, but.
I'll let you ride.
Out there anyways,
To your
I'm
point,
trying to move it
your
forward.
point though, we've had public
being
meetings
held up
after
by public
public
comment.
meetings.
Okay, can we have quiet, please?
We've had 4 or 5 public meetings about this stuff.
Right, but
Come on.
If you guys don't cut the side talk, I'll adjourn the friggin' meeting without
Because
it.
again, this is.
I'm talking.
I know, I'm talking to him. Okay, go ahead.
I'm saying to you guys directly, we've had a lot of very open public meetings about this. There's been no real holdups when it comes to the public's opinion about this topic. It's really been a holdup from you guys.
You're
And
correct.
it's alarming. It's very alarming from the public standpoint. It's very alarming and surprising.
can I explain it to you? You need to sit up here.
Yeah,
You need to sit up here to understand
There's been a
it.
little bit more to it than that. There's been a lot of obstacles in our way to try to get this done. There's been complaints from other people. We're trying to get through this, man. We really do. We want to seal this up. We want to get done with this. But there's been a few things that happen, you know, and I don't think the board's being unfair. I think Andy's really vetting this. I mean, we're trying to make sure we get this done. We're going to be voting on this tonight. We'll be voting on this, and it looks like the vote's going to go the way you want it to go. So,
Could have voted on it 5 minutes ago.
It's unfair because this vote could have opened up my shop.
yeah.
Now
It's,
it's like this guy's gotta go through. So if you think that this is fair, you're wrong. The vote could have opened up my shop, been open for business if we had adhered to the timelines in that book, which everyone's supposed to know.
so how about we
So
stop?
please.
Well, let's take a vote now. Let's stop.
I'm not gonna hear that it's all been hunky-dory. I'm not going to. I've done that over the last meetings. Now is my meeting to point these things out.
All right.
We could have been open for business.
All right. So look, I'm going to make a motion to vote on this thing.
Second,
Second.
All right, I vote this as we approve it with the condition that you're not able to begin the operation until the town votes to opt in.
or,
Or accepts, or
Whether we're a warrant article or whatever, the town votes to opt
Still a
in.
town vote.
Yeah.
Still a town vote. Still
So that's it, and
electorate will decide.
yeah, okay.
All in favor?
Unanimous.
feel better now? Feel better? Sure you do.